Hello, I am Lunch. I am coming to you totally sequentially after the lovely game The Dodo's Dilemma for this really fun FPS with my very, very good friend. Uh,
Oh, is that me? Oh, hell.
yes,
That's a
you are
nice
my
way
very
to
good
be
friend.
introduced. Hello, it's me, it's Mod. I am playing your boy, Delta, aka Alibi, aka all of those other things that I can't remember right now. He's, had an interesting time lately. So, yeah, we'll get into that, but I will let Launch set the scene.
Boy had a really hell of a birthday, really.
It was a time.
Um, but it is a very cloudy and overcast day somewhere in Iquel. It's very close to the borders of seemingly several places. Disney Kingdom, Dreamworkers, not too terribly far from UPA at this point. Uh, but for whatever reason, Alibi is and his trusty companion are kind of taking a walk and thinking about some things, I do believe.
Yeah, so after the game, which you will definitely have listened to before listening to this FPS, the link will be in the description. Doodly doodly. Uh, yeah, so Alibi is not in Bottomless Hat anymore. One day, Grunkle John will wake up and go upstairs to see why uh, his latest tenant, who has sort of enforced upon him,
Mm.
but has been bringing in sort of interesting things like, rare items keep kind of turning up, or like he gets an extra month to avoid paying taxes for some reason while this guy is staying under his roof. So he's not complaining. He's not complaining. It's an unusual sort of thing, like perfect weather whenever he needs it. But today it's raining and he didn't want it to be raining, so he's going upstairs to see what the hell's up. And Alibi is not up in the little loft room or wherever they tucked him away. But there is a bunch, not just one, but a bunch of four-leaf clovers in a little vase, and a sort of hastily written note that says thanks. So that's about as eloquent as Alibi has been on his departure. And yeah, him and What the Horse, who started out this journey a sort of nice pale blue, sort of sky blue, but as it's been raining, she became a dapple blue, and then a splotchy sort of piebald blue, and now is definitely, well, skewbald, is a white horse again, because she is an unfinished sketch. She is white and has all these sketch marks all over her, and that she actually is back to her default design because of this persistent rain, which for her is unpleasant, but Delta, aka Alibi, is a goose and actually really likes the rain, but what is getting very annoyed about being wet. So the horse is probably looking for somewhere to be less wet.
Luckily, on this road less traveled, not the actual road less traveled, which ironically is quite well traveled due to its popularity, is uh, home to a few bits of shelter. It seems almost like small little, basically range shelters, almost like bus stops, that are sparse throughout the trail. But definitely large enough to fit a few people under its roof. Should there come the need to take shelter from the rain, which I believe is exactly what Watt wants.
Okay, I'm
What?
gonna
What?
roll. I'm gonna roll luck. This is partly to test that I know how to use the system. So this is Delta's luck. So it's +3 because he's a lucky bastard. Of course, it's a 21. So Watt walks underneath this shelter, and Delta had been kind of falling asleep on her back, and is sort of there lulling, and it looks like his head is absolutely going to collide with the top of this thing. But at just the right moment, his head just drops forward, and he does that sort of it just misses the lintel, and he manages to be underneath it without any concussion resulting.
And as you kind of hear the rain pick up, the gentle plink 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 of the rain against the top, you also hear another noise coming in from the distance, and it sounds just like one consistent like as
Here she comes.
not too long after, a streak of stars in blue, a witch skitters down, or basically just skirts down Akira style, slides in the mud on her broom, before quickly darting into the shelter. Sopping wet. You can see from her outline, it's kind of sagging from the amount of water that it's accumulated, and it's starting to coalesce in a puddle beneath her. And she's just kind of shake. You know how you shake your hands when you wash your hands and there's no paper towel or anything.
Yeah.
She's just kind of doing that, and hoping that'll be enough to get all of her. Shakes her leg, does a little hokey pokey dance, politely, a little bit away from the other inhabitants. Actually, no, she doesn't quite notice them at first, but then she does. I'll kind of be like, "Oh, howdy! Sorry, I didn't realize you were in here. I'll just go to this corner and just, continue shaking this off." And she will take a few steps back as what is allowed in the shelter. It is large enough, but it is still a bit cramped. And she'll continue to try to make herself a little bit more dry from all the rain.
I think the noise of the impending and certainly the collision with the ground will have woken up Delta sufficiently that he actually witnesses this. What just doesn't even blink. He does the whole sort of double take situation. This horse has seen it all. She's just standing there chewing some cud, sort of like, yep, every day. This is every day for me.
Yep.
And ironically, her voice is quite like Rhodes in a way, so it's a shame that we have a conversation. But yeah, Delta witnesses this, and Alibi reluctantly rolls hammer space because he has decided that there is something. It's a 6. I always like it when I fail. Boo. Okay, well, he successfully, naturally, pulls out a large fluffy green towel and hands it over to the whatever it is that just landed next to him.
And will take a minute, oh snap, is that for me?
Well, I'm not exactly hanging.
I mean, to borrow, I ain't gonna be keeping it none.
It's okay, you can have it.
That's fair. Oh, you certain about that? I'm not supposed to be taking things for nothing, none. But Rory will take it and kind of dry herself off. It's kind of it's basically just containing a dog that's trying to shake itself after getting wet.
God. I think the more mud and water is removed from this toon, the more realization dawns on Delta as to who this is. Because even though he's not been able to be an active party in Dodo Studios, he's certainly been following Dodo Studios and their cinematic product over the past couple of years after his demise, greatly exaggerated. And yeah, he's like, "Oh, it's you."
Aurora will kind of take a second, in the middle of brushing her hair, and she'll just kind of stop. Look behind her. Did I miss someone, or?
No, darling. You're, well, it's not every day you get to share a shelter with the star of Calamity Dame.
Oh yeah, I did that.
How did you get the role? Did
well,
you
howdy,
enter the studio in the same manner as today? That's the sort of stunt he did yes.
What?
Oh, it's alright. I was just trying to
I do my own stunts. Kind of like Rowan doesn't have eyes, but it's just what? No, I met the engineer, in some, professional capacity during an incident that I ain't really at liberty to be talking about none. And we helped with me and my girls helped with some filming that he did, You heard about the Mississippi River? I was part of the camera crew on that. It was very, very it's so it was so
Ooh.
fun.
Yes,
But
I
after
did
that,
actually
apparently
witness.
he
I did actually witness some of that. I happened to
you
be in
did?
a fifth story
Wow.
building. It was well, rather below me, so was the zombie, but it's alright. I emptied a couple of anvils out of my pockets. Nothing really, you know. I don't ask for a medal or
Oh no, everything's
anything.
good. Oh no, it's so good of you to do something like that, you know? I mean, every bit helped in that fight.
What is rolling her eyes? Just like, oh, this guy's just the worst. And Alibi is eating it up because, like, yeah, I did something helpful. It wasn't at all just because I was bored. I'm a good person. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, but like after that, I don't know. I guess my sharpshooting skills kind of caught his attention. I mean, I am pretty good at what I do, but you know, then he invited me to like tour the studio and stuff, and then just kind of went from there.
How cute. And, yeah, he just
I
reverts to
know
being kind of
I'm such a big
standoffish.
fan.
I'm also sorry. I think we've got a bit of a delay between me and you. Sorry, we're talking over two different
Oh, it's all
continents here,
good.
people. Uh, but yeah, what actually sort of speaks to Delta on her back is like, you're really not that good at making friends, are you? And he's like, shut up. And I don't
What?
think Rhodes could speak to horses. So what does that look like?
Just a funny fox saying "shut up," and she's like, I mean, you know, there's like nicer ways to tell me to not be
Oh
talking.
no
If you
no
want to
no
like
no
sit
no
here in
not
silence, we can do that. But
Not
like, oh,
you, not you, the horse. I'm a Frank and Holly. I know I don't look like it. It's the Warnerkind my father was.
ow!
Anyway, she can be a little bit sassy, can't you, dear? And the horse says something which Delta is not going to translate.
Ah! No, it's alright. I'm like that with my familiars. They try to sue me in familiar court, but I don't know how to get there. So I'm down to like one batch of familiars. I ain't good much with animals, none. So like, I'm already sorry if anything happens. And she just kind of like apologizes to the horse preemptively.
No, 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 that was not a summoning. And this strange thing appears because you said familiar, and Delta has a familiar, and the familiar really wants you to know about itself because poor little Cloverworm hasn't had many outings lately and is desperately bored. So this strange wiggly piece of like green string appears out of Delta's sleeve, basically, and makes all these very odd noises at you. And you've probably never seen a clover worm before because he certainly hadn't before he got given it. And I am desperately trying to
Absolutely
find a
not.
picture of the damn thing, but it's alright, I'll edit it in the video.
Whee!
Yay!
Ro just kind of like you like she's certainly charmed by it. Keeps a big old like open mouth smile, like, oh, you go a little familiar there too. You look so
It
it's
just
so
keeps
cute.
making these really weird sort of crooning gurgly noises. It's clearly not a language that anyone can speak apart from the clover worm, but it doesn't seem to care. It's very enthusiastically telling you about itself. Even Alibi can't understand exactly what it's saying.
Aww. Aww. Road Road is like almost vibrating because it's so cute and it sounds so cute and she wants to like give it little scritches, but that would be rude. And
Oh,
this guy
oh,
doesn't exactly seems a little bit standoffish, so she doesn't know if she can actually ask.
the clover worm will ask. The clover worm is just absolutely delighted to meet you, and you know, even though Alibi has sort of
Oh,
sat up with his
so
arms crossed, the
small.
clover worm is like on what saddle. So yes, absolutely, if you want to pet the clover worm, you can.
Oh yeah, like very like you know when you're approaching a dog, you gotta be like you gotta let him sniff you first and stuff.
Yeah.
She'll do all of that and then just give him little like little chin pats. Like, oh, it's so cute.
Yes, yes, you're both adorable. It's lovely to see you getting along so well. And yeah, he's just a little bit sulky about it, but he's also kind of like, Yeah, my pet is cute. Yeah, what about it? Kind of braggy.
Oh, does he got a name?
And Alibi actually looks at the clover worm, who makes a sort of noise, and this is clearly something that they've had altercations about. So, I was given this friend clover worm. I think that's the species name. I have talked with them about what name they might like, but apparently they have one. I just can't understand what it is because I don't speak worm. And, is making the sort of hand gesture of like, what do you want me to do about that? And the worm is just like,
All right, wait, let's try this. What's your name, little guy or girl? I don't know much. This.
you see my problem?
She's just mimicking back the noise.
The worm.
I mean,
is
maybe
like,
it is that noise.
the worm is sort
Maybe you
of
gotta mimic the noise
patiently
back.
nodding and is kind of.
Maybe you just gotta mimic the noise back, and that's the name it goes by.
I tried
The
that,
Zizzles.
but I think I said something rude, and then Anyway, it's an ongoing discussion. If you have any insight as to that, You look. Hang on. You came in on a broom. You're some sort of witch, aren't you? If I remember, the newspaper said something about that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm part of the Break Brigade. I'm part of the UPA Witches.
Sorry, never heard of them. He has. He's being an asshole.
I don't know, it's alright. I mean, we're mostly based in the UPA, and we do, we try to help with, small things and big things now that I think about it. Actually, we've helped with a lot of big things. But, we don't really do it for all, notoriety or anything. We're just out here to help people.
Oh, so a charity. That's lovely. Yeah, he's like so not about that. I'm sorry, this man is horrible. However, I would like you to roll insight on the clover worm.
Insight. Okay. One, two, three,
Yeah, that'll do it. A 16. So this clover worm is definitely a magical being. The language it is speaking right now is celestial.
Me pulling up Rhodes things.
It's not necessarily something
not quite.
you speak, but you recognize some of the accents, or there's a sort of aura coming off the clover worm, which is distinctly of a celestial being.
Hey, so you are real fancy, aren't you? You are something special. Yeah, you are.
And he looks so proud. It's just written in its little clover-shaped head, yes, I'm the specialist boy.
You are a very special little creature, aren't you, son? Fortunately, I don't speak none celestial. I got a little bit of infernal under my belt. But I ain't got any of the celestial stuff, fella. I'm sorry, bud.
Yay.
Maybe you'll be able to find somebody who's good at translating that stuff, though.
Alibi is looking a little bit confused at the moment.
Rowan is completely just having this conversation with the worm.
Yeah.
Alibi is there, but it is Rowan the worm.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you said celestial?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what this little guy's speaking in. Like I said, I only know Infernal, which has some adjacent dialect stuff things from it. I don't know how that works. But, Celestial is a whole different ballgame, and I ain't really qualified to be a translator for any of that none. I mean, maybe one of my girls might know about that. Probably one of them would, because they're all real smart girls between all of them.
But I speak, or I used to. Are you sure?
I mean, no, because I don't actually speak Celestial, but like I said, I'm pretty good with these sorts of things. I'm pretty good at problem solving.
And
I don't know. Have you found like a place that sells like spell scrolls or something?
for the benefit of the audience who are wondering what the hell I'm doing, and also for Launch, who is probably wondering what the hell I'm doing, Delta did take a course in Celestial, and his mother spoke Celestial because she was a cleric
Ooh.
of the luck goddess order,
Ooh.
basically. And he's never had to think about it. He just could speak it, and it was fine, and he was natural because he's a natural as everything. So the fact that he may have
Course.
somehow forgotten an entire language or now does not have access to it is a bit confusing and concerning.
A little bit. Hmm.
Yeah, but he's not going to say that because that's like backstory shit and he just met you.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a secret tool that we'll use in the future. Anyway. The clover worm has decided to curl up in the palm of Rotan, by the way.
She is absolutely like, you know, you know the one picture, the one. Oh, fuck, I don't even. The one where he's got the little guy in his hand. He's just like thinking and pondering and petting the other guy in his other hand.
Yep.
Rose kind of doing that, like very gently, but she's doing kind of that. She's just like open palm, but still petting him. It's just like, I mean, like, maybe I am wrong about it, but you know, don't hurt to try none if you find someone who's good at speaking Celestial. And they might be able to give you a good translation. And then you could finally get a name, because it really ain't nice to go around for so long and with a little buddy and not be able to call him their name or anything.
Yes, I do relate to that, actually. I'll look
names
into
are
that.
important, you know?
I'll stop by a library or something. By the way, am I on, not that I particularly care or anything, but am I on the right road to Toontown?
And Rhoda will kind of like take a breath, like, I ain't gonna lie, none. I haven't like walked an actual road in like years, which is kind of ironic given my name. But most of the time I'm flying, so like.
Noted.
I mean, I came from that way, so I assume if you come from that way, you should be getting there. Because I just came from there.
What just nods her head because What knows what she's doing. Even if this goose ain't got her close, she's just like, I'm just gonna stay here and not participate in this conversation because you're an idiot.
Ah! Oh, looks like your horse friend knows. Sorry, I don't speak horse none.
Yeah, what is just like, I'm sorry you don't speak it either. But anyway. Hey ho. And Alibi's just like, well, you'll just have to put up with me because I am the best you've got. Oh dear, what a shame, such low caliber. Anyway.
Oh, don't speak so lowly about yourself. I'm sure you're a swell guy.
Yes, I am, rather. Thank you for noticing. It's nice that somebody does. Oh, by the way, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Alibi, and he offers a hand as if offering the hand of a royal person to you. Like, as if you've heard of him.
Oh, Rhoda will be like, oh, nice to meet you. I mean, you already know I'm Rhoda, I guess. But she'll just take it and shake it like any other hand. And she is not using the hand. She's like, she keeps Clover in her other hand. Like, she's still holding the Clover. She's attached to the Clover.
Delta is surprisingly light for a fox, so he's probably wobbling up and down on the horse a little bit more than you'd expect. So he's like, you're rather enthusiastic. You're much... Well, I suppose you are a bit like some of the other stars I've met.
Oh, you've made others? I mean, have you... Well, I mean...
No, not really. I mean, I had a passing relationship with the engineer. I suppose I sort of temporarily...
You're saying your name's Alibi, right?
Yes.
It like core things locked into her brain.
You know, it's the darndest thing. I found this the other day. I have no idea where it's from. I suppose a child must have dropped it. And he reaches into his coat because he hasn't put it in his hammer space because this thing is so strange endearing to him, but he wouldn't say that out loud. He pulls out a stuffed toy engineer, and it's got a button eye and a sewn-on patch. It's a rather raggedy-looking thing, but, and he holds it in a sort of like, I don't know what to do with this object, but I care about it too much to throw away, sort of a gesture, and he's like, I don't know whose this is. I suppose part of the reason I was going to Toontown is I suppose I might as well drop it off at the studio. I think he'd rather like it, don't you?
And like the second Rhodes sees it, it's just like the giddy enthusiasm and goofiness that she kind of carries kind of mellows down into like a bit of shock, and it's just like, oh, you're the one who got him. Oh,
What,
you doing all right then?
Why do I have?
I mean, like, I mean, that's kind of a long story, and I ain't gonna lie, I don't know all of it because I don't know a lot of things about all that. But and she will reach into her pocket and take out a very similar but like probably more well loved NG doll as well. I mean, this is little NG Junior, and that's little NG Junior 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 Junior.
They have dynasties? What? Why do I have your toy?
I mean, like, you've been going through stuff, I assume? Like, have you been having a rough go about things lately?
That's entirely none of your business, roll insight. It's not a high DC to beat. Yeah, that definitely doesn't a 17 will do it. Yeah, yes, is the answer. Yes, he's been going through some shit. And, the parts of his design that you can see, which are, as it were, original, like his hands and part of his muzzle, he's very obviously 2D by nature and a Xerox era toon. But, like, it's a lot more scratchy, it's a lot more bird than some of the other toons of that type that you've seen, and you wonder, like, how much of that is a sort of side effect from being rather worn down emotionally. Like, he's kind of coming apart at the seams, in a way.
And Rhodes will kind of like tuck little NG under her arm, and like she's trying. You can tell by the way she's kind of moving. She's trying to figure out how to be delicate in this kind of situation, which is not exactly known to be Rhodes' forte.
You could just call it out. Like,
I mean, you don't. And I don't mean this to be mean. I never want to be mean or anything, none. But you don't be looking too well put together. Like, you look like you've been having a rough go at things.
And the clover worm is, like, explaining to you.
You already know?
Is explaining to you.
Yeah, you
everything.
already know what's going on.
Yeah. It is like doing the mime, like using the little wiggly worm line art to like try and spell out all of the different crazy shit that's been happening, but it's like impossible to decipher.
It's way too fast.
Yeah, it's kind of like, that scene where Giselle is, no, it's not Giselle, it's the prince is trying to understand what the chipmunk is saying. In mime, it's very much this sort of situation. And, Delta understands everything because he's been through it. He's like, no, shut, look, okay, enough. I think that's enough time outside for you, back in the pocket. And yes, the clover worm is hastily put back into a pocket and escapes, and then he's put back into a pocket and escapes and escapes. Like, popping out of different parts.
If he escapes like too many times, and gets far enough, Rhodes might pick him up.
Actually, yeah, let's make a Delta roll Dex, see if you can contain the clover worm. It's roll. Yeah, +3, probably? Oh, Fig rolls. Not quite. I nearly got it. Too many exclamation marks.
Almost. Perfect.
19.
He's caught.
Unfortunately, we have the perfectly timed gag of 3, so the clever worm sort of goes pop, pop, pop like 3 times and then gets shoved firmly down a sleeve and is resigned to stay in the crevice of Alibe's coat. Which is a very nice coat, actually. It's kind of like, for the rest of him falling apart and being kind of raggedy, the coat is nice and snug and is kind of holding itself together, so that's something.
That's good.
Yeah. Anyway, fine, I have. Alright?
Yeah, I mean, like, she kind of like brings her hands, like, so, like, here's the thing. I'll kind of explain what I know, and it ain't much. I'm contracted to a patron who, like, doesn't like it when people are selfish, I think. But also, they just don't like it when bad things happen and it affects a lot of people none, I guess. And also, they're a tree. And sometimes they're like, hey, I need to do something. Can I have a little something so I can do something else? Because they ain't got enough power to do a lot of things without being given anything done. So sometimes I'm like, yeah, sure, here's an item. And it's like, okay, the item's importance corresponds with how effective it may be. So they said they needed something pretty important, so I gave him a little Angie Junior there. But I mean, since you still got him and you're still looking like that, I'm kind of guessing it didn't go very well.
The number of expressions this man has gone through such a face journey while you've been talking, and as touching as the last remarks were, they're kind of lost on Delta because he's been putting 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 together and has ended up with that fuck as the result of his equations. He's like, could you possibly describe visually this deity, so called?
You know, I know it's a tree.
Yes,
That's it. I don't know its name. I don't know anything beyond that.
right. Okay. So this.
Like I said, I don't know much about it. I just like I I don't know. Maybe it does have something to do with memories because I don't remember it very well. No, but
So let me get this
I
straight.
don't know.
This tree, this sentient god-ish like thing that despises selfishness. Let's call it a giving tree for an argument's sake. It's just so it just kind of forces people to be generous, or is that the interpretation that I'm supposed to make, or?
I don't think so. I think it more just doesn't like it when, like, people being selfish impacts other people. So, like, not necessarily generous, but I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff I'm kind of in the dark on.
But what if, say, theoretically, that the tree misinterpreted, and he's sort of talking at the sky now, misinterpreted actions that were supposed to be for the benefit of other people as being selfish, and then decided to crowbar their way into that person's life without any permission or an invitation to do so? I mean, I just
You're kind of stews in that for a moment, like, I'm gonna say it again. I don't really know much about it, none. But I will say, maybe, maybe everyone's wrong there. Maybe the actions that are supposed to help people ain't helping people none. Maybe it ain't necessarily selfish, but if it ain't helping people none, then I guess, what's the point? I mean, that's kind of how I look at things sometimes, but
What's head turns around, like on the long, cartoony, bendy horse neck, just to, like, stare at Alibi, and the clover worm like pops out from one of his sleeves and does the same thing at the same speed. And he's just kind of like fuming, but also there was something in what Rhodes said out of all of the chaos that's been happening to him lately that actually kind of made some sense to him. And he's very mad about that because he doesn't want it to have made sense.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's kind of sulking right now, and he's just like, well, this is a matter that doesn't particularly involve you, but thank you for your input, I suppose. Thank you, I guess.
You're welcome, I guess.
Yes,
You'd
well,
certainly, you certain Rhodes thinking over her words again. Like, puts her hands together and like puts her hands together like up to her face, like, it don't involve me none right now, and it maybe not involve me in the future none. Which yeah, I ain't trying to get involved if I don't have to none. But based on this interaction, which I am involved in right now, you don't seem very polite.
and like the mouth opens to say something, but like Watt is still looking at him and does the slow head shake. The judgmental animal thing. And he's like,
Oh, I'm sorry. Like Rhodes turned to the door. Like, was I a little bit too blunt? Am I misreading things? Were you just having a really bad day and I just like made it worse? I'm sorry.
No, you may have had a point there. I suppose I was being rather sharp with you. I do have a tendency to do that. I apologize. And he says it like he's never said that word before. Like his mouth does a weird movement. It's like over animated. It's like over animated. It goes on to ones instead of twos, and he's just like, apologize. Tastes horrible, you know? It's like, alright, fine. Well.
Slowly, Rhodes is kind of putting pieces together. Like, yeah, I think God needed some help, and I don't know exactly what my patron did, but I don't think it was entirely out of line. Probably not knowing what happened in the last game.
Rhodes, you're so valid. I love you. You're doing so good. This guy.
I accept and appreciate your apology.
Alright, well, seeing as you appear to be the fountain of wisdom that I have been seeking, may I ask...
Oh, am I? You've been seeking me out? Rhodes just kind of like sits on her broom, like, kind of like, aw.
Cloverworm does start giggling in his sleeve about this, which tickles significantly, so he's sort of like, no, stop that. Goose is ticklish. Well, metaphorically speaking, I suppose I was looking for some advice, so I might as well. Luck has brought you to my metaphorical non-existent doorstep. I miss having a doorstep.
You ain't got a place to like camp out?
Yeah, I've been traveling for a while, fairly permanently. Anyway, before we get too derailed, so if let's just put this in a very abstract way, alright? So say
Hypothetically
speaking, if a person had removed themselves from everybody's life because they assumed that would definitely be a good thing to do for reasons that are complicated, and I promise you, actually do have a very sound basis in the longevity of the people. Do you think it would be very awkward if they just reappeared or suddenly, or would that be a nice thing for the people, or should they just not do that?
I mean, speaking from experience, going back home after going away for a bit and like dealing with stuff's always pretty good for everyone involved. Like, it's kind of tough.
Yes.
but you know.
The issue here is I have a friend. I have a friend who, and Watt is just like, are you seriously doing this? And he's like, look, I don't have a better way of doing this. I have a friend who may have made some poor choices and ended up with a large number of people who very much are not good people chasing after him and wanting him dead, and he's slightly worried that if he reappears, that rather than going immediately after him, they might go after them. Do you see?
Well, I mean, if you think about it like see in the movies, most of the time it don't matter if the person they're looking for is actually there or not. They'll usually still go after, like, the family regardless. So in that case, kind of going and running and hiding seems kind of pointless. Then again, I mean, like, not all Western films are like real life.
That is very true.
I forgot. But,
I'll think
I
about
mean, if
it.
your friend needs help, you're, like, there is something to be said about safety in numbers. I mean, I didn't start being, like, kind of vigilante stuff. Well, I did start doing vigilante stuff by myself, but
Did
it
you?
wasn't very effective none until I got with my girls.
Oh, no.
Kinda. I don't
Rewind the
want to talk
track.
about it.
Rewind the track. I'm interested in
No,
you now.
we ain't talk. We're talking about your friend. We're talking about your friend right now. I'm
I've
giving
done
you
an
some
awful
really
lot of
friend.
sharing. I don't know the
I
slightest thing about you outside of the movies. Please, you've got to give me something.
know. Well, I mean, like, it's not very nice stuff. I used to have a lot of, like, anger issues and stuff, against, like, real kind. I guess I still got some issues with it, but, like, I used to be mighty, vigilant about them and not exactly nice towards them in, Vealstown. It might have gotten me in trouble a few times, and I might have had some bad experiences, but, I'm trying to move past that, and having a good head on my shoulders and having friends who also have good heads on their shoulders and can steer us all in the right direction, I don't know, really helps me not be so rash and do things that are not good.
Yeah, he's doing the sort of cupped hand over mouth, extremely camp. I am fascinated by everything, but I am also absolutely taking receipts for future use, possibly. I don't know, because I'm morally grey. I might just be your best friend for life now, because this is the juiciest gossip I've had in literally years. Like, this is a celebrity. This is one of the celebrities that he feels has replaced him. And it's just got this delicious four-course meal delivered straight to him. And he's like, oh, wow, okay. But at the same time, in the periphery of his eyes, he catches a little bit of green, and it's looking quite disappointed at him. So he stops smoking quite so malevolently, and is like, well, I promise, your secret is safe with me, and I find it absolutely fascinating. Did you kill anybody?
And like that startles Rhodes, like, visibly. And she goes really quiet.
Oh, you did? It's okay. I mean, I've had to
No,
once or twice.
I don't wanna talk about I don't wanna talk about that, no.
Oh, okay.
And, like, her tone has shifted.
Yeah,
Her tone has shifted.
even Delta manages to pick up on that. He's like, okay, too personal, understandable. If it makes you feel any better, I've had some necessary casualties in my time, but it was them or me, I promise. And anyway, I didn't bury the bodies. I got someone else to do that for me. Thank you very much. So, we've all got skeletons in the closet, or underneath the soil, as it were.
Yeah, like, not helping her very much. She's definitely kind of stewing on something, kind of cuddling little NG, a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Definitely run her fingers over the patches, kind of like, anyways,
Yeah,
back to your
Delta's sort of
friend.
winding down in the sort of oh I fucked up sort of a way, and he looks at the NG toy in his hands, and he looks at
Mhm.
her and looks at it, looks at her and looks at it, because he's kind of a little reluctant because he's like actually kind of enjoyed having this thing. He's like, do you want this back? It looks like you might need him.
Road kind of looks at him. Road looks at him, looks at little NG, kind of holds her hand. Little NG Junior holds her hand out.
Oh. I mean, are you taking it or like what?
Well, she kind of like, yeah, she kind of will hold her hand out.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Alibi reaches and puts the toy in your hands very carefully. I would like you to roll perception.
Road your perception. Hey.
Oh man, 11. That's. I mean, it's up to you. That's not great. I'll be honest.
Nah, Road's not cute. Road's kind of a little tunneled now.
Yeah, it's a shame. So all of the details that
It's
you might
okay.
have gleaned from this supposed fox excessive number of pieces of jewelry that he's wearing, but also his apparent lack of gloves, despite having white hands. Being a fox, it's rather unusual. But the hand retreats, and this opportunity passes unremarked upon. And Alibi pulls his hood down a little
Road
bit
is
further and says, "You know what? I think I've overstayed my welcome. I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable. However,
no, you gotta stay. You gotta stay.
what's
And she's kind of forceful at that. And she's gonna roll hammer space.
oh gosh, an
You
18?
gotta
Yeah,
stay a few minutes. And she pulls out a sewing kit. And she sits kind of crisscross on her broom, and she will kind of keep little NG in like the crook of her elbow as she starts kind of patching up little NG Junior a little
okay.
bit more so than he was before, adding a new button eye that's not quite the right color, redoing some of the stitches on the patching, and as she's doing it, she will kind of talk. Listen, if it's relevant to your friend, I've been in a situation kind of like that. I done near almost killed one of my very good friends when I was little, and I kind of left everyone after that for a good long time, and it took me some while to get over that and improve myself. But when I came back, everyone was so happy, and it was so good to see that they didn't hate me none for what I had almost done. And if people, you've got to have people who love you, and they're gonna love you no matter what happens. And sometimes you just gotta remember that, even when you mess things up, or you think you mess things up. And she'll kind of come to the end of fixing up little NG Junior and do like a final snip on some of the stitching, and hand him back to Alibi.
He doesn't really know what to say for a second. That was very touching. Oh gosh, yeah. I think he just sits on the saddle and like looks at this very loved, repaired toy that had been kind of messed up and broken, but it's still loved anyway, even though it's kind of, yeah, it's not the same as it used to be, but to be loved is to be changed, and she took it back even though it was damaged and made it whole again, and that's very much symbolic of what he
Yeah.
wants, but he doesn't know if he can have that. So he's sort of going through the steps in his brain. He's like, so I suppose the crutch of this is that I don't actually know if why the people who are angry at my friend are angry at him for a good reason or not. We're not quite sure if their basis for being so angry is true or not. I suppose we're a bit afraid that it might be true. I suppose I ought to sort out whether or not that is the case before I try and reintroduce my friend to society. Don't you think?
Rodel. If Alibi doesn't take the little NG Junior, she's going to fucking sit him on the saddle.
Oh yeah, no, that absolutely has accepted this. Yeah. No, sort of in a numb, unquestioning way has accepted this.
Nah, you good. I get that you want to like take all the burden on yourself and like prove that I'm doing things because there's a reason for it and stuff, but I don't know. It's better to do it when you're with people who love you, because like I said, when I'm with my girls, if I'm thinking of something and they can see it ain't the right thing to be thinking about, they can steer me on the right track. If I see one of my girls doing something that ain't quite good for them, I can steer them on the right track. It's good to be with people, and people need each other in order to, be good. And even if your friend did get in trouble and it was like a valid reason or whatever, like, better to face that when you're with your friends and stuff. I mean, you seem like a mighty good friend. You're going out of your way to ask questions about him or for him.
Yes.
Maybe he just needs a few more people like you.
That's terribly sweet, but I think we both know at this point that I was actually talking about me. It's me, and I... You know what?
What?
Oh gosh, no, you didn't actually believe that, did you? Oh, sweetheart.
I mean, like, I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt, because, I try not to, like, pry into people. You are like, it ain't involved, and try to pry into your personal thing or read too far into it. So, like, but even then, like, you should, even as silly as it is, if you need people, like, there's always gonna be people for you, especially if you've got a home that you still have, that there's people that that are still there. You should, I don't know, go back to them. I know when I left, my dad and pa were not doing too great, and when I came back, yeah, I got a little bit of a scolding some, but then, they're more happy to have you back at the end of the day.
Oh, god damn this goose. I'm gonna roll a D2. Because sometimes I have to do that to make a decision. Oh, god damn it. Oh, you're so fucking stupid. Okay, fine. Alright. Yeah, he gives you a very hard, solemn look from underneath the shadows of that hood. And then he does not have the shadows from the hood, because he's taken off the hood, and he takes off shiny, round, black ink blob of a nose. So, does this change your advice?
Fucking blue screen on Road real quick. Hey, I think I know you.
Well, that's
I think I might have seen you before in some movies.
Yeah, I've seen you in some.
Like,
what is that noise?
That means my conspiracy theory was right? That means my conspiracy theory was right! Oh. I can't tell no one about this, I don't think none.
Yeah, he's kind of like, why did I
Rhodes
do that? Why did I do that?
Like,
this is the most open and honest person
having her mind blown a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it was
It's
very
just
much a.
like, whew, I mean, okay,
Oh
like,
my god. This is a spur of the moment
give me like
decision.
a minute, like, give me a minute. This is like when I met this is when I met Angie for the first time. I just like need a second because I'm supposed to be real helpful and serious, but also you're you and like like yeah, yeah. So like give me like 2 seconds. I'm gonna go scream in the corner real quick, but I'll be right back. Uh,
The corner of the road.
yeah, the corner of the like it's like 3 feet away, maybe.
No, she
She does
flies
like
like
she just kind of
directly
like
up into the stratosphere and then comes back down
yeah.
again.
It's still raining.
Still raining. Oh.
She comes back. She's like, all right, I'm good now. I think. Okay, no, I'm not. Give me like two. Give me all right. Give me another minute.
Do it twice more.
Calming breath. Calming breath. I'm cool. But if anything, I think it changes it just that to a more definitive. You should go home because I mean I don't know much about what your family's like because I don't pry into that kind of stuff. But Angie's lost some people, and I think bringing that counter of people he's lost down, even by one, do a load for him. And
I hate that you're maybe the most sensible person I've met, and you're such an idiot. And I mean that in such a loving way. Please don't
oh,
be upset about that. I was kind of jealous about the fact that you had kind of replaced me, but then I've kind of had this conversation. And
replace
now I'm
you?
just like, you're a nice person. And now I can't be mad at you, which kind of makes me mad at you because you're so nice, and I can't be mad at you because you're nice, and that makes me mad at you, okay? I'm just.
Rhodes still fucking reeling from the I have replaced Delta, and it's just like what?
Well, I mean, okay, less you, more Tobias. God damn, he's so handsome. It's so annoying, you know? He's taller than me, he can change color, he's really good actor. It's just, I had that, and then I had to give it all away because I was trying to look after my family, who are nicer than me. That's the whole issue here. I'm not a great person. I'm not the worst person, but I'm not a good person, I wouldn't say. So I was trying to do this to be good, and now I've got to throw all that away, and then it's going to be like, oh, well, then I was just being an asshole the whole time. I need a lawyer. I actually think I do. I need a lawyer. I wonder where those two went.
Well, I'm still recovering from a few comments. This is a lot happening today, huh?
Yeah.
What a rainy day! Am I right, horse?
Yeah. What is just like, just, like the hood-lidded eyes of defeatism of like, I've tried.
Uh-huh.
There is no way. This guy is completely like this all the time. There is, he abandoned his entire life for like, what, 3 years, and now he's just taken off his hood to one of the most open and famous people in Inkwell on a whim. Yeah, so what is just like, does a horse shrug, and this in fact jolts Delta enough to like kind of get him to realize, oh god, I made a huge mistake here. Anyway, I'd appreciate it if you didn't actually relate any of that to anybody, especially Tobias. That would be very embarrassing. Anyway,
Ro does like the lip sealed thing.
Thanks, I do appreciate.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna let you know if you're gonna have stiff competition. But anyways, I mean. But really, though, you should get home because I might be able to keep that from Tobias, but like, I don't know, it seems a bit mean to keep that from Angie. That, you're
Yeah, I don't
fine.
enjoy this.
I mean,
any consolation.
Good, I guess. I mean, it's never like a fun go. Oh, I did a bad. I gotta go live in the woods for a bit
Mm.
journey. I mean,
Yeah,
but
I really miss having like the same room for more than a week. That would be really nice again. But yeah, I miss my family a lot. Like a lot. Like a lot. Oh my god. It's like doing the
yeah. I
head
mean,
in hand sort of like, oh, I've said it and now I can't stop saying it. Like, oh no, he really misses
I mean,
everybody.
they probably miss you just as much, if not more, because most people think you ain't like around anymore, and you know that they're still around. So go home, Delta.
But the Yakuza, I'm just like, they're a lot. And at the moment, they've got like kind of crazy. I'm like, oh man, why? Okay, so I'm
Yeah, the
going.
Hugo's has got numbers, but
Mm,
so will you if you go back to your friends and family. I mean, heck, if you're at the studio, I'll be there sometimes. And then if you need more things, I got my girls and we can just go do stuff.
that sounds real sweet. I'm just. I got a lot of process. I've got a long walk to get back to Toontown. I suppose that's in my favor. I'm gonna. I'm gonna try to do what you've said. I don't know how well it's going to work out. I may have to make a stop before I can do the whole hi, I'm not dead scene.
Take your time, but not don't take your time, but be using it as an excuse to put it off. And
Mm.
Rhoda will kind of look at him
No, 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 no.
don't be don't
That's
be
not what I mean. That's what I mean is I need a lawyer.
okay.
It's all right.
Well,
I know
I
a
don't
guy.
know
I'm just
any
gonna
in
find
time
him.
clue.
God.
Well, this has been a crazy kind of day.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't
I ain't
really
gonna
mean to
lie,
give
none.
you all of that. Hold up. Let me
No, it's
just.
okay, none.
No, 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 no. You gave me nice advice, and I should try to be nice. I know. And he's like looking at the horse as he gets off the horse, and Cloverworm makes a sort of buzzing noise, which is like about bloody time. And yeah, once he gets off the horse, yeah, you probably already knew because you're such a super fan, but Road may be surprised at exactly how short Delta is actually. He's like,
Yeah, I think Rhoda is kind of just. Oh my god, I'm taller than him.
yeah, 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 by a significant amount. Like Delta is like maybe an inch taller than the engineer, if that. He's a
Oh my
goose.
god.
He's taller than the average cartoon duck, but like that's not big. They're not big. So
It's a weird thing for Road being like, this is a person I am helping actively, obviously gone through some stuff, but this is also Delta Song Danger from
yeah.
my movies.
All right. And I have prepared a table, but I am going to roll to see what Delta finds when he looks around. So he has a big plus nothing to his perception, so this could go in any direction.
Whoa!
I mean, every game with this guy there is a nat 20, so that was the nat 20. He just like walks around in a circle with his like a hand over his eyes for a second. He's like, trust me, it works every time. There it is. And like he bends over and like under his hand in a bush and he pulls out a diamond ring. You have got a diamond.
Sorry, I mean, there's a girl that I'm already kind of dealing with stuff
No,
about
no,
right
that's
now. I'm
not.
still
This is
working through all
not.
that.
No, this is not that. Someone will have lost this. I don't know if you want to like return it to them, but I personally would
Hey.
sell it or use it because these things are really useful for magic and you're a witch. So like, I figure maybe
Yeah,
that'd be
nah.
good for you. So,
Prob-
I can prise the
Probably gonna
diamond out of the ring if
be.
that's gonna make it less weird for you. Like, I don't make the rules on how the luck does its thing. This is just my luck saying thank you to you, so here you go. It sure does like you, because that's a pretty ring. Damn. Okay, well, it's yours, so enjoy. He's kind of salty, but
Oh,
he has to give it to you.
thanks. Still kind of just like a lot of total whiplash. Like oh my god, my second favorite star is giving me an item. He doesn't seem too happy that it's me he's giving it to, but oh my god.
It's not even his. He found it on the floor in the
I
forest.
know!
He's a terrible person. It probably fell out of the back of, like, just because it's a natural 20 and this is how the luck works, it was probably stolen already and then it fell out
God.
of the robber's pocket as they were fleeing into the night and has been lying here for like 2 years. And now he's
Dear
found it.
God. Well, I know.
Yep. That's Rhodes now. Enjoy.
Yippee!
I love that. Like, that list was like 20 items and it went from a penny, a copper piece, to like be a lucky penny, to a diamond ring, and you got the diamond ring.
Rhoda will just be like, well, I really ain't supposed to be taking stuff without, giving something in return. But
You gave me the doll.
Oh!
You gave me advice. The whole reason I'm giving you this is because of that. Like, did you listen to the spiel? I'm trying to be... Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go before I change my mind and turn around, because there's a lot of me that wants to do that. But I've got a horse and a worm thing and a cuddly toy that are telling me that I should do what you said. So I'm gonna listen to the cuddly toy. I've gone insane. It's been 3 years. I've been dead 3 years. I'm crazy. And like, he takes off going, yeah! And like, you just see this dust cloud as What the Horse and Cloverworm and this mad deranged goose go flying off down the path, because if he turns around now, he will not have the courage to continue, which is what you have given him. If in a slightly unhinged way, this whole conversation has shaken him out of his misery enough to get him into slightly more toonish behavior, which is much healthier than he's been.
Road, we're probably near towards the end, so Road will just kind of step out, kind of like whistle and holler. You ride on home now, Delta. You ride on till you get home, I say.
In the distance, you hear the Daffy Duck woohoo noise. Thank you, Rada, for suggesting that in the comments. That's great.
I think that's a good enough place as any to end it.
That went in a way that I did not expect it to, but that's characters for you that will possess you remotely, and I'm actually really relieved, because this guy was getting so bogged down in his own stubbornness that he needed someone to just like turn him upside down and shake him, which Road effectively did. Hooray!
Yay! Yay!
Hooray, Road! Sometimes all you need is a crash landing witch in a mud puddle and all your problems are just solved.
What luck.
Yeah. Anyway, so Delta's off to find that lawyer that helped him get out of jail once, but this time he's not sure if he committed the crime that he wants to be absolved from, so that's going to be a totally different game. Oh boy. And I am writing that right now, and it may take me a while, but that will happen now, because that whole plot has been accelerated, so here we go! Woohoo!
Giddy up now.
Giddy up now, what? Oh, boy.
Oh, that was fun.
Please note, Delta took off without putting his hood back on. He's just being, like, insane right now. This is not at all usual behaviour. He may put it back on before he gets back to Toontown, but there may be sightings of a blonde goose at high speed heading in that direction.
Rose just not gonna sleep tonight. It's
just got a little crazy. I mean, anybody would, really, after 2-3 years of self-isolation for apparently no reason. It's fine.
It's fine. He'll manage. I believe in him. Yeah. Road believes in him.
Yep. This was great. Thank you for breaking my character in the correct direction.
crack, egg.
Yeah. I also did roll that D2. Genuinely, the 2 was take off the hood because 2 is usually worse than 1, and in this case I wasn't actually sure which was the good option, but here we are.
Aww.
I was like, does Rhodes need this? No, absolutely not. Take off the hood. Alright, okay.
Okay.
I guess.
I suppose. But
Thank you.
we should probably end the recordings.
Yeah, that was a lot. Thank you very much. Do you want to say anything else before I stop the recording?
So long, gamers.
So long, gamers. And see you next time on Toonkind D&D. Outro music that I haven't written. Enjoy. Okay, goodbye.